All righty, welcome into the BATify podcast with your hosts, Travis and Ben. That just doesn't even sound right, but Ben and Travis. Right now we have joining us once again is Blake Hollimon. Myhan may jump in here in a minute, but we're here. We're going to do our NFL playoff picks, at least the Wildcard Round that's coming up this weekend. Obviously, if you've kept up or listened to our other episodes where we've predicted the college football bowl mania, you should not listen to anything we're saying. At no point should you ever take any advice that we have and put any kind of bet on it whatsoever. And I'm talking from the money kind all the way down to Starburst candy, clothing, anything. We do not take any.
Or Waffle House.
Come on, man.
Nothing. We're not taking any kind of guff for that. So there's our disclaimer. We're just having fun picking these games, seeing how terribly we do. And today we're going to do the NFL playoff, as I said earlier. And we'll talk about winners, losers, and we'll keep a comparison going on of who picks who throughout. But we'll be focusing mainly on the wild card weekend. And Blake, how you been, man?
It's good. Had a rough day with my Auburn Tigers yesterday, but
it's all about the rebound.
It's a good day to be here with you guys.
We're going to get you back feeling good about sports today.
Yeah.
Ben, you doing all right?
I'm doing great. Ours, went pretty well yesterday. Our team won. So condolences to Blake and all. But and then, hey, Will, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Travis, what's up?
What's going on, Will?
I'm good. Blake, what you doing?
Oh, glad you decided to join us here.
You just started. Not 20 minutes late. But I'm going to be 100% on these picks. I can tell you that.
There you go. So that's the enthusiasm we need you to be here for, because
Simmer down.
I'm not that enthusiastic about my picks.
So what games are we picking?
we're picking the wild card round of the National Football League, or the No Fun League. Starting on Saturday, January 4th, we've got the Bills at the Texans at 4:35 p.m. That's Eastern time. Why are we doing Eastern time? That'd be 3:35 Central time. Then we've got the Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots, following that up at 7:15 p.m. And then Sunday, we've got beginning at noon, the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints. And then at 3:30 on Sunday, we've got the Seattle Seahawks at the Philadelphia Eagles. And what we're going to do is go around, and each one of us is going to pick each game. And I'll try to keep up with it the best I can. And we'll see who does the best out of the four. Sound good, guys?
I like it.
Sounds great.
All right. So we've got, and Blake, I'm going to rely on you, since I know you've got it in front of you, to give us a little information that might be pertinent to this Buffalo at Houston matchup.
Yeah, so we've got the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Both teams are 10-6. The spread on this one is Houston is favored by 2.5. So Las Vegas thinks Houston is a little better. Neither one of these teams have a really great resume. I know it's tough to get to 10 wins in the NFL. But Buffalo plays a lot of close games. They've lost to some good teams and beat some not so great teams. And Houston's kind of the same way. I guess the star power is more with the Houston Texans. They come in with Deshaun Watson, Carlos Hyde, and DeAndre Hopkins, who is an all-world receiver. For me, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills here to get the upset. I think Josh Allen has a great game. I think they go into Houston and get the win on the road, because they're 6-2 away from Buffalo this season.
It's a pretty solid pick, Blake. I'm going to go with, or am I next, or is Will
Yes,
next?
sir. Go right
I don't
ahead.
even know where we're at.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'm going with Bills just because of the drought. Like, I think the Bills have had a drought since the early 90s sometimes, of playoff. I think they're going to be fired up. I think the fan base is going to be fired up. So I'm going with Blake. I think the Bills are going to find a way to make this one.
You know, Travis, Ben showed me an article not too long ago about how the Buffalo Bills are the reason that the Kardashians are popular these days.
That's true.
And there's this whole story about how the Kardashians became these prominent people in America because of the Buffalo Bills. So just for that reason right there, I'm going with the Texans.
I like that pick. And you know what?
We should have started 20 minutes ago.
You know what? I'm going with Will on this too. I got a good buddy that's a big Houston fan, but I'm saying J.J. Watt is the difference, brother. Old Josh Allen, he's in for a long, rough day with J.J. Watt coming back to play in this game. So,
that's if J.J. Watt doesn't break his back.
Hey, is it Hopkins, the wide receiver for the Texans? Is he the one that gives the football to his mom after every touchdown? Yeah, I'm going with him just because of that, too.
He's also known as No Drop D-Hop, baby. Let's go.
No drop D-Hop.
Zero drop D-Hop. And since we split that one, we'll do our individual picks, and then we'll do our show pick. Since we split that one, I'm going to flip this wonderful nickel with Thomas Jefferson's face on it. In God we trust. Deism, take it. So Buffalo is Mr. Jefferson's face, and then whatever's on the back. Here we go. It's going to be the Texans. The Texans.
Hey, interestingly enough, isn't it a Buffalo nickel that they have? Like the Buffalo nickels, the old ones? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you flipped a nickel. It's interesting. But yet it went for the Texans.
Fancy Nancy.
Witchcraft or something.
All right, we're on to the Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots, going to Foxborough, where playoff dreams go to die a horrible death.
That's true.
7:15 p.m. Who you got, Blake? Give us some info. Whatever you think is pertinent.
Man, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. It's hard to go against all those rings that he's got. But if you've kept up with the NFL, especially the New England Patriots this year, they have not been as dominant as what they normally are. I mean, their record is 12-4, and they're 6-2 at home. And we know Foxborough, Gillette Stadium, there is a tough place to come in and get a win. But the Tennessee Titans, they come in under new quarterback leadership with Ryan Tannehill. They've got an emerging wide receiver in A.J. Brown. He's got over 1,000 yards already. And everyone from the South knows who Derrick Henry is. He's got over 300 carries, 1,500 yards, and 16 touchdowns. So the New England Patriots are going to have a long day if they can't stop the run. And we know how the weather is in Massachusetts a lot of times. It's tough. It's cold, and so I think that plays right into the Tennessee Titans' strength. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans to go into Foxborough and upset the New England Patriots.
I really thought I was going to be going against the grain with Blake on this one because I knew he was a Brady fan, but I'm going Tennessee on this one too. I think my head says New England's got the advantage a little bit, but my heart says touchdown Titans. So we're going to go with him.
I think I'm going to roll. My commentary on the games is a little less knowledgeable than Blake's. So after Gronkowski spiked Steve Harvey's head on New Year's Eve,
fantastic.
I'm going to roll with the Patriots, man. And I think 3/4 sleeve Belichick gets it done.
New England it is. And, I was going to go Tennessee, and then when you guys both went Tennessee, and I realized in my pick 'em all year long, I've went against two teams all year long I picked against. One is the Baltimore Ravens, and one is the Tennessee Titans, because those guys I really want to see win, and I'm going to go against them again because I want the Titans to win. So I'm going to go New England. And, to say this, you got to go to Foxborough. You got to beat Brady, and you got to cut the head off the snake. And we'll see if they can do that. I hope so. So here we are flipping again. We're going to go old TJ Thomas Jefferson's going to be the Patriots. The Tennessee Titans are the little building on the back. Here we go.
The little building.
Titans it is.
Oh, be interesting.
Titans going up in there, taking business.
So Houston has it on the first one, right? On our
Yes,
flip. All right.
Houston. All right, we got Minnesota at New Orleans on Sunday, January the 5th at noon.
Lay it down, Blake.
All right, so this is a very interesting matchup. Was it last year? Was the blatant pass interference call regarding these teams, and that basically changed the landscape of how pass interference is now challengeable.
I went to New Orleans in
NFL.
May, and there were T-shirts everywhere about that blown call. They were still
Yeah, so they're still salty about it, and I don't see any way. Last year was completely different. I think Minnesota was better last year than they are this year, but New Orleans is really tough at home. It's hard to go in there and get a win. This is the largest spread of any of the playoff games this weekend. New Orleans is favored by 7.5. So I think Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, who is now probably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Hey, now.
I think those three guys on offense get it.
No,
he's better than Julio. It's okay.
Now.
You can admit it. But New Orleans gets it done at home.
Okay.
I don't have a particular favorite team. I mean, I like the Titans. I like New Orleans is one that I follow. I like them, and I'm just a Drew Brees fan. So I'm trying to keep my heart out of the picks, but looking at all of the stuff there too, I think that the Saints are the stronger team. I think they're 10-3, so I'm going with Saints on this one too.
I'm going to go with superior wisdom, and I'm going to go with Blake and Ben on this one too. Had a good time in New Orleans, made some friends down there on some mission work that we're headed back to, so I'm gonna roll with the Saints too.
Well, as much as it's difficult for me to agree with Blake on anything ever again, after the blasphemy he just spewed on my podcast, I just don't know that New Orleans can take the heartbreak again. So just simply put, to keep it from floating off into, oblivion, as the entire city may try to cut itself off from the mainland, I'm going to go with the Saints as well in hopes that they don't get the dreams of so many people dashed.
I think
so,
Scott Kaiser will like your pick.
New Orleans across the board on Sunday. Now we've got the Seattle Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles at 3:30 on Sunday to wrap up the wild card weekend.
I think this is probably the most interesting game of all of the wild card weekend games. Seattle versus Philadelphia. Seattle's a 1.5-point favorite on the road against Philadelphia. Seattle has had a ton of injuries at the running back position, which has led them to sign none other than Marshawn Lynch, coming out of retirement or whatever you want to call it, to lead that backfield. We know about Russell Wilson and how dominant he can be in games. They've got few wide receivers that are average, nothing special. But that Seattle defense at home is tough. And on the flip side, we've got the Eagles led by Carson Wentz, and they don't really have a standout skill player on offense other than maybe tight end Zach Ertz, who gets it done every year for them. But this one really is a coin flip, but I'm going to go with yet another road team. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to get the win in Philadelphia.
I don't really know on this. I'm looking at, I think if I'm looking at this correctly, Seattle's, did you say 7-1 on away games? And
7-1 away.
Philadelphia's 5-3 on home games. So it does set up kind of an interesting dynamic. I watched the Seahawks. They still look like a pretty good team too. I don't know. Philadelphia, that city of brotherly love. I mean, they're they're all about their team. So I think they're going to show up and they're going to be there. They're going to be rooting them on. It's playoffs. Although it looks like Seattle might have the edge, I'm going to go with Philadelphia on it.
Not a bad pick. I'm going to go
Thanks, Will.
I'm going to go with Philadelphia based solely on this. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018, Blake sent me a video of their center. You might know who their center is?
No.
Jason Kelsey. He gave the most motivating speech that I've ever heard. Now, it's probably not PG when it comes to the things he said, but quite the motivating speech of being an underdog, and underdogs fight. So I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one.
I'm going to go just purely based on the fact that I wish the NFC East didn't exist because I hate them. Because year in, year out, they're some of the worst football on the planet. But you know what we get every primetime game? The NFC least. The NFC
Cowboys.
least. For the love of Pete, get it off of my TV. Let's go Seattle Seahawks. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And for the love of Pete, if you get down to the 1 yard line, inside the 5, hand the ball off, man. Hand the ball off.
I bet they hand the ball off this game.
I fully expect, and we'll do the flip here in a minute, for Derrick Henry to get 10 touches the entire game, just because that's how stupid the Titans are. Anyways, I know that's another game we've already called, but all right, we've got a split here. We're going to go Philadelphia here with the Thomas Jefferson, Philadelphia, and the Seahawks on the little building. Here we go.
I see what you did there.
I like it.
Nice.
This is riveting. Oh, man, we went the little building on all three.
Wow.
It's going to be Seattle, right?
The little building.
Yep. You said Philadelphia was TJ.
That's right.
There you go. Seattle it is. So, overall, we've got Houston winning at home versus Buffalo. We've got the Titans going on the road to Foxborough and winning. We all picked the Saints to beat Minnesota, which means it'll be completely opposite day. And we've got Seattle winning at Philadelphia. And we'll come back with the divisional round next week. Hopefully we'll get to that. As we get ready to close out our time together on this podcast, I want to ask each one of you so far, what's your favorite moment of the bowl season? Blake?
Well, for me, it's Auburn graduating 5 seniors on the offensive line. I'm glad those guys never have to come back and play for the Auburn Tigers anymore. So that's my favorite part.
All right, Benjamin.
It's hard to pick against the fact that Alabama came back from a very dismal first half, especially defensively, and played a pretty good second half. But as far as one play is concerned, one that just sort of was amazing was the other night. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember now who it was. It was Virginia. Their quarterback rolled out to the right, jumped over a guy with no, running start, stiff-armed another guy, threw to the back of an end zone for the touchdown. I'm not sure that I really cared about that game, but that was a pretty amazing play.
That was a good play. Will?
I'm going to go with the last touchdown that Najee ran in yesterday.
Just to put the knife
just to put it in a little bit more into Harbaugh, being the most overrated college football coach in the history of football.
That was
not prime Saban. So saw a little bit of maybe a little revenge tour coming, and was just enjoyed that last little punch in.
My favorite moment is when everyone gets to figure out how bad the SEC refs are together. We all have a moment.
That was great.
It's a great moment. I would have said Will's. He stole mine, so there's mine. But, hey, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back. Feel free to hit us up on Facebook.com/Ben and Travis, Twitter.com/Ben and Travis, and give us your picks. I'm sure that yours will be much better than ours. But we're having fun doing it. Appreciate you guys taking time to be with us, and we'll be back hopefully next week with the divisional round of the playoffs. Y'all have a good one.